Authored Up reports that only 1.2% of all LinkedIn posts are polls. And I think that this is a crazy missed opportunity for B2B businesses. And if you stick around, I'm going to show exactly how you can use them to grow your business. G'day everyone, it is Coach Michelle J. Raymond, and welcome back to another episode of the podcast. And in this week, we're going to talk about a feature, an underrated feature that I think is hiding in plain sight. And we're going to be talking about LinkedIn polls. And you might be sitting there going, really, Michelle? How can we dedicate a whole episode to just LinkedIn polls? Well, listeners, this is exactly how much of an opportunity that I think that they are. And I've been using them strategically with my clients for a little while now, always testing things, seeing what's working, what's not. And especially for company pages, I think these are an amazing opportunity. When I was reading the report that Ivana and the team at Authored Up did, so shout out to them. If you're not following, I'm going to put the details into the show notes. But ultimately, they did a research of all of the posts and found that only 1.2% of all posts on LinkedIn are LinkedIn polls. And that's across company pages and personal profiles. And that's really surprising because at the same time, their research found, and I'm going to quote this, that the top performing posts on LinkedIn regarding reach are LinkedIn polls, and they come in at 1.46 times increase over the median reach. So what does that mean in simple terms? Practically, a poll can get you seen by 1.5 times more people. And that's a great opportunity for anyone. In my personal experience, when I've been working with clients, I actually think that that number is sitting closer to 3 to 5 times. And that's the experience that I've had with the clients, whether it's company pages or personal, when you use these polls strategically. But before we go into that, I've got a quick announcement from our podcast sponsors, Metrical, who have just released an amazing report investigating social media platforms, and you don't want to miss it. Listeners, Metrical's 2025 social media study is here, and it is their most comprehensive report on social media trends. Get this, they analyze data from over 1 million accounts and over 21 million posts from 8 social networks to measure the evolution of all of these different platforms, help to forecast 2025 trends, and compare the results with the previous 2024 study. Now it's your turn. Download the full study for free, explore its pages, analyze the data, and find opportunities to grow your brand. Everything you need will be in the show notes. And as a bonus, don't forget, listeners, you can use the code Michelle30 to try any premium plan for 30 days. So make sure you go and check it out. Let's start by having a look into the power of LinkedIn polls for market intelligence. Seriously, listeners, there is no other format of content on LinkedIn that can get you so much market intelligence so easy. When it comes to using LinkedIn polls strategically, the top B2B brands use them to find out things like customer pain points, price points, product demand, industry trends. It is such a cool way to get that immediate response from your community that you've been building. This is exactly why we spend so much time strategically building out, because when you use these polls, you can really get that direct feedback really quickly. And most people are very happy to engage with polls. So those hidden users on LinkedIn who are very unlikely to like or comment on your post, surprisingly, because polls feel anonymous, you'll find that they're more likely to engage. And certainly the numbers are reflecting that. Listeners, you know that everything I do on LinkedIn is tied back to how do you leverage LinkedIn for business growth. And when it comes to LinkedIn polls, it's no different. So after this short break, we're going to come back and I'm going to tell you exactly how to structure a LinkedIn poll to discover sales opportunities that will help you grow your business. If we want to use LinkedIn polls strategically to uncover sales opportunities, there's something you need to do first. And that is stop and think what is the goal that we have for our business? What is it that you're trying to uncover? Is it a new product that you're looking at option A or option B? What is the goal that you have? And then we use the poll to discover the people that are interested in this product or helping us choose between option A or B. But without the moment where you stop and figure out what the goal is first, it makes it very hard. And maybe this is obvious, but it makes it super hard for you to then design a poll that's effective. I mean, it's easy to do a poll, but not all of them are effective. Now, one of the things that I would say to you is, firstly, when you're creating a poll, do not give your audience 4 different answers to choose from. I find that the more answers that you give them, the more that you attract a little bit of everything. I want people, when I'm doing polls, to choose a side. And quite often, the questions that I ask lead them down into picking A or B. And of course, there are always those people out there who say, it depends. And so I give them option C. Let me know more in the comments. So option 1 is choice A, option 2 is choice B, and option 3 is refer to comments. And so that pretty much covers the whole spectrum. Now, I make it easy for people to answer. We don't want these questions to be complicated, and we don't want the choices to be hard. It almost needs to be a no-brainer, A or B. Now, the limitation that we have here with LinkedIn polls is that you only have roughly 30 characters for the answers that your audience needs to pick from. I think they're doing us a favor by making sure that we keep things succinct. The more work that you do in the planning phase, the more that you can make these things obvious. I'll give you an example of a poll that I could use to discover more about my potential clients. And that could be related to wanting to discover what's the biggest issue that company page admins are having right now. My question could be, hey, page admins, which part of your company page do you find most difficult? Growing your page followers as option A, or B, growing your reach and engagement, or that could be just growing your impressions. And so from that perspective, we've given them 2 easy options to pick. And we know, as I said, that there's always going to be the people that want to say both or neither. And so we'll tell them option C is all about let us know in the comments. So that's as simple as it needs to be. I like to run mine for 1 week. That gives it enough time for enough people to get answers. And on average, I think you can get 100 to 200 responses, which if you think about that with that number of people sitting in a room, it's actually quite a lot. And if you have to pay for an agency to run that kind of market testing for you, I'm very confident that this LinkedIn poll is going to deliver a much higher ROI. So there you have it. A well-structured poll gives you 2 options to get that market intelligence, which allows you to then transform options on your side, whether it's products or services or what's featured within them, and then change those up so that you will grow your business. Now, from this, there's also some common mistakes that I see when people are doing polls. So after this break, I'm going to share with you the most common mistakes and the number 1 mistake that costs people more business than any other. So stick around. Let's talk about the most common mistakes that I see with LinkedIn polls. And number 1 would have to be when people do absolutely pointless polls. You know, the fun ones that people used to do in I think it was 2020 or 2021, cast your mind back. There was a time when you could do a poll on LinkedIn and literally the engagement and the reach that you would get was off the charts. We're talking 100,000 impressions to find out what flavor potato crisps or chips, if you're here in Australia, do you like the best? And everybody was engaging. It was just craziness. And so what happened was when people realized that more people would see that kind of content, the polls became sillier. They became more pointless, but there was a huge amount of reach. Now, I'm all for sometimes mixing things up so that you can get discovered by new people, but really, what's the long-term impact on your brand, be it your personal brand or your company brand? I don't think that it's worth it. unless you're having some fun and it's obvious that that's what you're doing. So number one, no pointless polls. Nobody's got time for that. The other thing that I would say is a common mistake that I see is not letting the polls run for long enough. So 1 or 3 days is a couple of your other options. Let the poll have some time to do its work, keeping in mind that people might not be on LinkedIn 24/7. They might only check it once every few days. And so you want to make sure that you give them time to see those posts and notifications and get involved and get active. And if the poll's going really well and you've got a lot of engagement, the last thing that you want to do is cut it off because you told LinkedIn just run it for 1 day. So go for the 1 week option. That's the winner. Now, the very last mistake, and possibly the biggest mistake that is causing people so many issues, the one thing that I don't think any business I've ever worked with has had a good strategy for handling this, is when people engage with your poll, when they vote, as the person that set up the poll, whether it's on the company page for the admin or whether it's you personally, you can go in and see exactly who voted what option. Now, if someone was to vote, I'm having problems, growing my page followers, if that's something that I was looking for, the thing you must do if you are going to get maximum value and grow your business, you have to engage with those people. And so what I would do is go into the results. You can click on the person's name and then send them a message and say, thanks for voting in my poll. I can see that you're having issues most with growing your page followers. Here's some content I've created around that I think would help you. Or did you know I run a company page admin training session that focuses exactly on this and I could help you? Have you ever considered getting training? And so you start that conversation with someone you know is interested. So bye-bye cold calling, bye-bye sending messages to people unsolicited and hoping and praying that they work. These people have told you exactly their answer, so you don't need to guess. And then you could also have on the other side, for those people in my poll who might have voted, how do I grow my page engagement and reach? Well, guess what? I've got content on that as well. And so therefore, they would receive a different message from me that feels tailored and personalized and not something that just feels spammy. So the more that you do this, you've uncovered potential problems that they're having. Businesses, as I say, exist to solve problems. That's why we're here. And so it's such an easy way to flush out these warm leads. So listeners, there you have it. That is exactly how to structure a poll to uncover opportunities and avoid the common mistakes so that you can use this tool to full advantage. Like I said, when I use them for myself or my clients, they get the reach, they get the engagement more than anything else that I'm seeing right now, besides those random videos that are taking off over in the short form video feed. But again, still not hearing anyone growing their business out of that. But polls, absolutely. I know that this is a strategy that works. So listeners, as I wrap up the show this week, I've got a challenge for you. I want you to go and create a poll with the strategies that you've just been given. Let it run for 1 week and then reach out and let me know how it went. I'd love to hear the results, or tag me in your post and I'll come and support it and have a look. Until next week, cheers.